Um, so what we're gonna assume is that the array that we're storing them in is always about the size of the number that you're putting in, right? In fact, remember what we said, you always want to double it. So let's say the array is 2 times bigger, right? 5 times bigger. All right. So, and then we're going to define what's called a hash function. And a hash function, what does it do? It's the blue arrows. It's mapping every key to some place in the array, right? So what is this back? These keys, these keys are our balls, and these array items are our bins, and we're taking each ball and we're throwing it into a random bin, and we hope that the bins don't get too full, right? Everybody kind of follow that? And if the array is twice as big, then that's where I say we have half as many balls. We throw half as many balls into these bins, right? Everybody kind of get what we're doing? All right. So it's called a hash function. You give me a key, it tells me where to store it, right? Now, let me tell you one place I use hash functions, and I haven't done it this term, but suppose I wanted to, at the end of the, have you heard me doing it? Right. So if I want to publish everybody's final mark, and I don't want to tell anybody, I don't want to tell you what his mark is, what I could do is I could list people's names and their mark. Yeah, but people are going to get upset. I could list their student number and their mark. People are going to get upset, right? People don't want people to know other people's student numbers and social insurance numbers or their mark. So what I do is I design a random hash function. And I tell you what the function is. You put in your student number, and out will come a key, right? Out will come an index. And that will tell you then, where do you find it? You find it where you find it in the list, right? Does that make sense? And one property of these hash functions, which we don't need here, but it's hard to invert them, right? If I know the I, it can be hard to get the student number, right? In fact, it's not, it's, right? Everybody good with that? All right. So, all right, so here's, how do we insert? We got a new guy. We say, hey, 5 is hashed to 8. So we put it there, right? And then we say 9. 9 is hashed to 5. We say 2. 2 is hashed to 0, right? We say 7. 7's hashed there, right? We insert in constant time so far, right? Everybody see what we're doing? We're going to later have collisions, and we're going to have to deal with that when two things go in the same bin, but we're not worrying about that quite yet. All right. So how do you search? Well, where's 5? Right? How do I know that? Well, well, here's the trick. I have to know the hash function, right? It's not like it's not like when I'm putting it there, I flip coins. I know the hash function, and I can say 5. Who's 5 mapped to? It's down there. I can find it. Right? Yeah. 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 So we're going to get into hash functions later, but what do we want? We want it to look random. In fact, we're going to choose it randomly. But once we have it, it doesn't change. So when you insert something and then you search for it, you got to use the same hash function or you won't find it, right? Everybody good with that? And are we running out of time? Got 3 minutes? All right, any questions about anything for 3 minutes? Well, let's go back to his point. Before we start, we choose a random hash function. It's the blue lines is our hash function, and you choose it randomly, right? Now, once you have it, it's fixed for the duration of this table. Well, we haven't talked about that yet. We'll define hash. There are ways of doing it, and it's easy, and we'll do it. Any other questions about the course, your life, your love life? Did you break up with your girlfriend? No, she's great. Any other questions? All right.